Hi, welcome to Game Creation, and welcome to this next episode where we're hopefully going to be removing those rows. We will. I will not stop until those rows have been removed because we've got 2 days after this one and we've got a lot to do. So in today's video, we're just going to be updating the array to remove the rows, easier said than done, and then redrawing the tiles so that everything's shifted down as it should do in Tetris. Now, the way we're going to do that is this is a very, very complicated thing to do, as I explained in yesterday's video. Happy New Year's, by the way. So I started this tutorial in 2019, finished it in 2020. That sounds really long, but that's just, it's 3 weeks still. So I hope you had a really, really good time last night, and I hope you're not too worse for wear for watching this video. So let's get started. Okay, so I've opened up the same project as we've been using, and we've got this beautiful function here that just redraws all the arrays. Well, it's a beautiful fast loop that just redraws them all, which we absolutely need for today. Now, you should never leave code sitting there that you're not using, so I'm going to delete those ones that we're not using anymore because they're just taking up space. And there's a few always events that I'll sort those out later on. Right. So if I run the game and show you what we're going to have to try and do, I'm just going to pause it. So when we have a completed row, we need to detect that it's completed. That's the first thing. Then when we've realized there's 1, 2, 3 or 4, which is the possibilities, because if you have this piece going downwards, that gives you the maximum amount of rows that you can clear. So it's either going to be 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4 rows. We need to remove those rows and then shift everything down by the amount of rows we remove. So if we remove 1, everything above it needs to be shifted down. The ones below that row need to stay the same. So what we're going to do is create a loop that loops through each of these rows. It's going to start from the top, because if we want to remove a row, say if we want to remove this second top one, if we want to remove a row, then we're going to be deleting this row and shifting everything above it down 1. And so if we're removing this row, that's a lot that we're shifting. It's all of these ones. But if we worked from the bottom and say we deleted this one and shifted them all down, then we'd need to recheck this row in case there's another row that needs to be deleted. And it just gets a lot more finicky starting from the bottom and working your way up. So this is not going to be easy. Okay, so where in our code would it detect that there has been a completed row? Well, it's this one here, because this is the one that says that a piece has reached the bottom, either the bottom of the board or this is touching another piece. But you can only get a row cleared if you've landed a piece. So this is the event here that should be fired to check that there's a row that's been completed. So we want that loop to happen before the create pieces from array loop. So actually we want to kind of remove that create pieces from array. And so start a fast loop. And I'm going to call it check if row completed. So we have a check if row completed loop, and we're only going to have one because we're going to have a whole thing from here. So we're going to insert new group of events, and we're going to call this the check if row completed. That's the name of the group. And you'll notice now I'm using fast loops a lot more because it really matters that these are done in order. And so we're going to check if row completed, we're going to have that, and then we're going to create pieces from array at the end of that. So I'm actually going to double click that, and I'm going to remove that because I want that as part of the other function. So this will be the last thing that's done in this function here, in this loop. Keep calling them functions. They're fast loops, which are not the same as functions, so I really shouldn't call them functions. When you do a fast loop of 1, it is the same as doing a function. And let's just move this to the top for brevity. Okay, So this is the group here that's going to check to see whether there's been a row completed, and this is where the maths gets really, really finicky. So we're going to start a fast loop, and this is going to be check completed array y. And the reason we do the y first is, as I said, we want to start from the top and work our way down. So there are 18 rows in total, and we're just going to drag that fast loop in. It's going to be getting annoying because I'm going to have to drag them from the bottom. And we're going to do the same again, but this time we're going to do it x and 10. Drag that down, move that up, and this will be on x. Cool. Right, so we've got, if I just run it and just show you what's happening. So we've got a fast loop here that is starting from the top, and the row that it's on is going to be the check completed array y, so the row that it's on, because y goes downwards, right? And for each one, so it's on the 0th one, it's going to do 10 of the check completed array x, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9, because it's 0 base, but there's 10 in total, and it's going to check all of those. Now, if it finds that they're all the same, like they're all greater than 0, then we've got a completed row, and we want to do a lot more stuff. So what I now need to do is have something at the start of this. So when this is started, so here, and we're going to have a flag, which I don't think you can apply to. No, you can't apply to arrays. So what I might do is I might go in here and create another data object. I don't think we're going to have an awful lot of data for this data object, but this is going to be the array check store, and that's way too similar to the other color, so let's pick a nice orange, and this is just going to store a flag piece of data and any other stuff that we need. So this is going to be the array store, and we're going to go to the attribute values and add a flag saying completed row. Okay. So, at the start of the row check, we're going to set that flag to on, meaning yes, it is a completed row. Let's just shift that above the fast loop. So we're saying yes, it's completed, yes, it's good, but we want to switch it off if it's not. So we're going to have a condition in this fast loop, and we're going to check two general values, and we're going to look into that array, and we're going to find the value. So 205. Oh, I have. That's good. Always make sure you copy and paste, because whenever you type it in, you will inevitably get it wrong. And 0. So if it is equal to 0, that means it's not a completed row. Then we just change that flag to off. We say nope, it's not completed. So at the start of the fast loop, we assume it's completed. We cycle through, and it's probably easier on here. So the start here, we say yes, it's completed, wicked. Then we cycle through them, and as soon as we get to one that's not a number higher than 0, so is a gap in the row, we switch that flag off and go, no, it's not. Then at the end of the check, it will check anyway, and we probably should change that because that's a bit of wasted time. But on the end of the check, then it will say, well, is it completed? If it is, we want to do something else. So we're going to copy that and put it underneath. So this is at the end of the completed check array y. So we say, yes, it's completed, do the check, and if it survived that check, then it will reach this bit here. And we're going to insert and say, is the flag on? Is the flag still on? Did it survive that check? If it did, then we've got to remove that row. Wow. So this is quite frustrating because there's no easy way of checking this. Well, I could check this. Could I check this? I could just switch them all to 100 or something, and then remove the graphics. So remove this row here. Shall I do that? That might be quite a good idea, so I can check that it's done. Yeah, why not? So let's do a quick check. So we're going to write a value, and we're going to write 1,000, and we're going to write it to the first. Actually, let's just do the first. So the first bit of the array, and it's always good, if you can, it's always good to check your code. And what I'm going to do is just remove the graphics from the screen. So just temporarily deactivate that line. Okay, now this is going to be really difficult because I'm going to have to create a completed row and the graphics won't show up on screen, so which is actually more difficult than it sounds. Let's move this one over here. So I've got 5 left in the bottom. And I tried upping this when I was just playing with this last night, upping the speed, and I actually found I couldn't get a Tetris, or I couldn't get any rows. Okay, here we go. There we are, that wasn't too difficult. Okay, so we're looking for this one to turn to whatever, 1,000 or whatever I put it, and hopefully it will. There we go, perfect. So a simple test to test that it's working, and it does. Let's just make sure I undo, because none of that makes any sense. Okay, now that that's successful, this is the really tricky thing, and this requires an awful lot of hard thinking. We want to remove that row from the array, and if I just reiterate what we're doing here. So if this is found to be a completed row, what we need to do is loop through all of the rows above it and shift them down. So if this is a completed row, we need to copy all of these numbers and move them onto this one. Not easy. So how do we figure that out? Well, let's just think about the maths. Okay, so say if this row is completed here, so this has a y index of 2, because this is 0, 1 and 2. So y index of 2. So how many rows are there above it that we need to copy? Well, 2. We need to copy this one. So we need to copy this one to here and this one to here. So we need the amount of loops will be 2 and then 10 for each one. Okay. Then we need to add a 0, 1 in here, because this, if everything's shifted down, this one will be empty. Okay, easy, he says. So we need to do right. Okay, so shift Y. That's what I'm going to call it. It's the shift Y fast loop, and we're going to do that. The current loop index of the check completed. In fact, I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm going to copy and paste it anyway, because I do not trust that because it's really annoying when you've spent an hour, not that one, when you've spent an hour figuring out what the heck you've done wrong and it's just a spelling mistake. So just always copy and paste, always copy and paste. Right, let's just double click that, put that in. Oh, don't think that's the right one. It's shift Y. Okay, so shift Y in there. Okay, so this is going to be the shift Y, and we need to then do a shift X. So start shift X, and this is easier because it's just going to be 10, one for each of the columns. Okay, let's just copy and paste that. That's going to be shift X, and then we'll remove that. Okay, so we need to change the value in the array. So let's just go back and let's just visualize it, make sure we're happy with it. So if we're removing the third one, which has an index of 2, we are doing Shift Y twice, one for this row and one for this row, okay? And we're just doing each individual one, and it's copying the one above it, okay? So we're going to write into the array, and what are we going to write? Well, we need to write the one above it, so let's go into there, read value from X, Y, Z. The X will be just the Shift X. And I'm really checking I've spelled that right, because capital letters always get me. It's good for readability, bad for remembering. Right, now the value we want to write is going to be some maths here. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it that for now. And what we'll do is we'll just flick through all of this, and I'm just going to show you the maths here. Okay. So the check completed array Y, current value is 2, and the Shift X current value for our first, Shift Y current value for our first fast loop is 0. So we want to reach the second one on the first fast loop, and then we want the first one on the second fast loop. And the way of doing that is just simply the check completed array Y, take away the Shift Y. So it's going to be 2 take away 0, which is 2, perfect. Then it's going to be 2 take away 1, which is 1, perfect. Okay? Yeah, if you followed that, you're a genius. Okay, so let's edit that. So it's going to be it's going to be the check completed array Y, which I didn't put in a fast loop. Oh my goodness, right. Start again. So click here, fast loop, check loop index, that one. Take away Shift Y. Now the value we want to write is actually the one above that. So we then need to take away another one. Okay? And we're writing it, and I'm just going to copy this because actually it just means I can just delete all the excess. So we're going to do it in the Shift X. We're then going to put this value into the completed array Y minus the Shift Y. So that will be 2 for the first one and then 1 for the next one. Perfect, that's where we want it to save it. And then 0 for the Z. Wow. Okay, so we've written the value in there, but we do have that one left at the end. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick fast loop. Let's just think about the logic of this. So we do Shift Y that amount of times, but we need to, so basically, let me just run it again to try and explain this. So we've done this row here, we've done this row here, but we then need to just cycle through quickly and put zeros into the top, just to make sure that they're there. Because if there's a piece there, then it might sit around, and we don't want that. So we just need to start loop, add 0 row, and we're going to do that 10 times. We just need to add a 0 row onto this. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And this time the Y is just going to be 0, it's just right at the top. The X is going to be the index of the add 0 row. And let's just copy that. And the value we want to write, I'm an idiot, the value we want to write is 0. The X index was just the index of the add 0 row. The Y index is just 0. And the Z index 0, 0. There we go. So that should now shift all of them, then add one on top just to put them all to 0. I'm not actually adding a row. All I'm doing is resetting that top row, because if they've all shifted down, that top row should be 0. Wow, that is complicated. Okay. Has this got any chance of succeeding? Probably not. But it is New Year's Day, and miracles happen on New Year's. That piece sucks, so let's reset and pick a nicer piece. I could probably double the speed and I would still be able to get a row, but c'est la vie. So this is moment of truth now. First of all, can I complete a row? And secondly, will it actually work? And I've got to keep track of where the pieces are. Oh, how lucky is that? Right. Okay, so I should only have 2 pieces left in the sort of 4th and 5th column. Let's see if it works. Wow. Okay, I genuinely did not expect that to work first time. Let's see if it carries on, because I'm a little bit nervous here. I want to do a second. I want to get the second row, so I'm going to ditch the first row, and I want to see if the second works. Because if the second works, I think we're onto something with this. I cannot tell you the amount of thinking I've had to do for this. Right, actually, I'll move it here because I just want to get that second row. And this is like watching paint dry, I know. You kind of. I don't know if YouTube has a fast forward button. I don't think it does. Okay, here we go. So there should be 2 pieces on the left hand side and then a row of 3. Let's have a look. Wow. Okay, I'm actually in awe that I've managed to get that to work. And I'm just going to sit here and play Tetris for a while, so I'm probably doesn't make good YouTube experience watching me play Tetris at 2 miles per hour. So we're going to leave it there. Quit while you're ahead. That's what I've always said in my life. So I wish you a really, really happy New Year's. I know some of you are watching this having not had New Year's yet, maybe. No, actually everyone's had New Year's at this point. But I know some of you are watching this having, not on New Year's Day. It's probably the 2nd for quite a few of you. So I hope you had a really good New Year's, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 7 PM UK time. Thank you.